Well, former President Trump is making what he calls a big announcement tonight from his Florida estate.
Sources tell CBS News Trump is expected to announce his candidacy for the 2024 race for president. We've also learned members of the former president's inner circle have advised Trump to put off the announcement until after the Senate race in Georgia is decided. The former president is also facing criticism from some Republicans over the party's lackluster performance in the midterms. Let's bring in CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa now for more on this. Robert, welcome. So tell us, why is the former president doing this now?
According to our reporting here at CBS News, former President Trump has been thinking about getting in early into the 2024 presidential race for months, and he was persuaded by some of his advisors to avoid getting in before the midterm elections last week. But he has been eager to get in, and the rationale behind the scenes is that he believes by getting in early, he could potentially freeze the field from other rivals. Though he knows some will, of course, get in, he believes some of the top-tier names like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin might decide to sit it out for a few months to wait and see how it all plays out. It's an attempt to consolidate the base and to define the race on his terms. But let it be noted that this is not a typical announcement. This is a former president who was defeated, now attempting to come back into American politics, all while he faces many legal challenges. Investigations on Capitol Hill, ongoing federal grand juries about his conduct, both in terms of handling records marked as classified and on January 6, 2021. And he's also facing scrutiny of his businesses in New York and of his conduct during the post-election period in 2020 from a grand jury down in Georgia. So all of that looms over this event tonight at Mar-a-Lago.
You know, Robert, of course, the predicted red wave hit what, some have called a blue wall. The candidates that former President Trump had endorsed and supported did not do well in the midterms. And Major Garrett said that some GOP members see the move as a sign of weakness for the former president. Does the announcement help or does it hurt the Republican Party at this point?
There's a lot of debate inside the Republican Party right now about its future, about who should be the leader, whether it's in the House or in the Senate. Some senators are calling for a delay in leadership elections, though it looks like Leader McConnell will have enough support to retain his position at this point. Everything in politics, of course, is fluid. And in the House, a Trump ally, Kevin McCarthy, is facing a bit of a challenge for his position he's trying to become Speaker should the Republicans win the House in the coming days. And what you see is a reaction to Tuesday inside the GOP in many quarters. And they're looking at the results and they're saying if election deniers like Kari Lake in Arizona were not able to win, and Trump allies like Adam Laxalt in Nevada, and you did such a great interview with Senator Cortez Masto out there and covering that race. If Republicans can't win in those states with a Trump-type message, then maybe that's not the type of message to go forward. The challenge for Republicans who are skeptical about Trump is if you want to beat him, if you want someone else to be the standard bearer, you have to run against him and beat him in the primary. And at this point, no one of his stature has stepped forward to say, I want to run against Trump. But again, it's early, very early in the process.
And funding, too.
Yeah, well, and that's what I want to ask you about, Robert, because we want to know both what's the effect on the Republican Party, this announcement, but also not just the unity of Republicans. What does it mean in terms of RNC dollars?
The RNC has been closely connected to Trump for the last 5-6 years, and one of his allies, Ronna McDaniel, remains the chair of the Republican National Committee. And they have relied on Trump in many ways to have enormous support from grassroots donors across the Republican Party, and they've remained aligned with him even after he left the White House last year. There is some grumbling inside the RNC about whether Ronna McDaniel should continue as chair, whether someone new should come in. It's part of this broader debate inside the GOP. Yes, Trump continues to provide them a lot of fundraising access to donors, especially grassroots supporters of the former president. But at the same time, if they're tethered to him politically, is there going to be a cost moving forward? Some Republicans believe that cost was paid during the midterm elections last week.
Robert Costa, thank you.
Thank you.